USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast, our somewhat regular get-together with you, the Auburn family, to discuss the Auburn experience. That Auburn experience to us is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it is if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. Thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today here on episode 5 of the Ever to Conquer podcast. That's what it was way back in the Ever to podcast. Today, where we get together and just kind of catch you up on a regular basis about what's going on in the news cycle, the topics. It doesn't even have to, it can be anything Auburn related. We just want to get together with you and talk about the Auburn experience. I'm your host, Kyle Loomis, as always. Today is Friday, May 16th. And will be the last one for this midweek type show that we're doing right now. We'll be back together next week, too. Let's get into all of the different topics today. As always, we want to remind you to drop us a line at e2cnetwork@gmail.com to tell us what you're wanting to hear more of on here, topics you'd like us to discuss, or if you'd just like to pose a question for us to tackle here on the show, you certainly can do that. That's e2cnetwork@gmail.com. Let's do this. I think this is a great thing because when we had this idea for this regular podcast, we are unsure if it's going to be Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. Obviously, we're doing this on a Friday, so we're giving it a shot. The challenge is going to be when we get to football season and I'm traveling for home games a lot, and maybe at least one away game that may be difficult to get together with you guys depending on what the travel schedule looks like. But we'll tackle that when that time comes. For now, we can do that. But I'd like to go ahead and propose to you to start off on Fridays maybe with what's going on this AU weekend. Certainly, as we get further into summer, there'll be less of that to look forward to be watching for. But since we're not going to be together till Monday, let's update you on that. Let's talk about it. What do you need to be paying attention to? What does your Auburn weekend look like as an Auburn person? So obviously, baseball is the big thing right now. The final series of the weekend, or the season, the regular season, with Ole Miss. If you paid attention to the game last night, it did not go well. At least it didn't end well. It started off in a nice pitcher's duel, which was a nice change of pace from all the offense we've seen, although we would prefer to see a little bit more of that. Ole Miss did get the Game 1 win at Swayze Field. The Tigers will continue on today. Keep in mind there is some weather that's kind of altering some things around there, but it looks like they should be able to get both the other games in. But keep that on your calendar all weekend. Game 2, Game 3 versus Ole Miss, very important for both teams, for the SEC implications and for further implications. Make sure you're tuning into that. Actually happening right now as I'm recording this. I do this around noon, 12:30, something like that, Eastern time recording. Women's softball is in their official competition for NCAA regional competition. That is in the Florida State regional. So the teams there, as a reminder, are Auburn. Florida State's the host. Then Auburn is the 2 seed. USF is the 3 seed. And then Robert Morris as the 4 seed. Right now, Auburn and USF are playing. So you'll be wanting to pay attention to what at least happened to that if you caught this after the fact. You'll also be wanting to pay attention to the rest of the action there. Robert Morris, FSU later on today. Now, obviously, this is dependent upon the rest of the action today, of what's going to be the playing times for each of these. You have games at 12, 2:30, and 5 tomorrow. And I believe these are probably central times In fact, I'm 90% sure they're Central Times for Saturday. So if Auburn, let's just assume that everything goes chalk. Auburn's a 2 seed. They should beat the 3 seed. Let's hope. So if that's the case, the winner of game 1 plays at 12 and would play the winner of game 2, which would be Florida State most likely if everything goes chalk. If, please hear me. I'm not trying to jinx anything. If. So let's just talk about that. If you're the winner of that game, you won't play again until Sunday, and then you would play until either you lose or you eliminate the other team. But if we go chalk here, the loser of game 3 would play at game 5 later that day at 5 o'clock. So we can presume maybe that might be Auburn. And if they were to win that one again and play one more day on Sunday with Florida State, if everything goes chalk. So that's kind of how you can figure it out. Saturday, this is Central Time, 12, 2:35, Sunday, 11, and 1:30 are those game times. And we'll see how Auburn does, and hopefully they can shock some people and get out of this regional and continue on in some super regional competition play. But regardless, we're happy to see how they're doing in this first year under the coaches Malveaux, as I call them. Not done yet with your Auburn weekend. Women's golf. Anna Davis is in competition out in California, individual NCAA competition. The team did not make it past their regional play, missed it by just one spot, actually. But she will be out there competing for an NCAA individual title, so be paying attention to that. And track and field continues at SEC Outdoors, which, by the way, a record was broken for Zimbabwe yesterday by one of our athletes, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce that right now because I'm going to talk about it on the Auburn Experience podcast later this week. Makan Nakeshi Sharamba. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry. That has nothing to do with you. That is all me and my Alabama accent coming through right now. But broke the 200 meter Zimbabwe record in preliminary competition. We'll see how the rest of the weekend goes. That is your Auburn weekend. That covered a good bit of some of the things that I wanted to catch up with you importance-wise for you to look forward. But let's look at some of the other topics that are out there right now. One of the bigger things that happened yesterday is we got a schedule update for Auburn baseball's 2026 season. We are wrapping up the 2025 season. If you've ever heard, and you should have, because Auburn's played in it recently, the Emergy Bank College, I forget, I'm even blanking on it now, and I had it written down here. The Emergy Bank College Baseball Series. I wanted to call it the World Series, but it's not. College Baseball Series. This is played out in Dallas at Globe Life Field. Auburn's been there quite recently and also in not too far in the distant past as well. It's becoming one of those premier things that happens every year, and this is where a lot of the great teams, at least the bigger names, come and compete every single year. So Auburn is going to be there with several other teams. You've got Auburn and Florida State, Kansas State, Louisville, Michigan, and I believe I'm missing one from my list as well on this one, so I'll have to go back and look at that. But that tells you right there some of the names that you can expect to see competing with Auburn at the Globe Life Field event, the Emergy Bank College Baseball Series. When is it going to be played? That's February 20th to the 22nd, that all weekend. And apparently it's the second of 3 straight weekends for the event. So I don't know if this was previous that they did it like this. I thought it was just one weekend. So if that's the case, there may be 2 other sets, Auburn being in the second weekend, 2 other sets of weekends with about as many people. I believe there are 6 people competing in this. Like I said, I'm missing someone from my list right now that I took down. But I would assume that instead of like this has traditionally not been like a tournament, although I think they do declare a winner if there is one. Each day you will play a game and you will play a different opponent, but you're not going to be able to play everybody unless, I guess now you could do a type of tournament style thing if you wanted to in that way, but guarantee everybody to have 3 games that you'll play. So Florida State, Kansas State, Louisville, Michigan, and again, I'm listing the other one. Let me know which one of those you are most excited for Auburn baseball to play, but they're once again getting the recognition they deserve. They seem very excited to have Auburn there. Auburn has a great contingency of fans in Texas. I mean, I know it's not shocking. Texas is a big state with a lot of people, but especially down in Houston, I've talked to people personally that are either previously from or currently in Houston, and they talk about how big the Auburn contingency is there. There's a lot of engineering and science-based jobs, and you can understand why Auburn would have a heavy presence in places like theirs up in northwest Georgia, where I'm currently residing, in the northern Alabama, in the Huntsville region, the Madison region, all up there, you can understand why those areas collect Auburn people, given what they are very, very good at in their academics. So be looking for that. Auburn playing next year, kicking off the season again at Globe Life Field with a very premier event that they're going to be a part of once again, and hopefully they can be just as successful. One other thing that I wanted to bring to the table today about baseball, since we're just in the middle of that, and that's what's focused on. We've got a couple of topics I've been saving that I want to dive into, just that aren't even timely right now. We'll save those for another day. Auburn baseball posted something yesterday. Obviously, we know how good the team has been doing, but they're obviously powered by some incredible individuals, Ike Irish being one of those. We all know for a while he's been the face of the program, at least for the last 2 years. Came in as a freshman phenom, too, several years back, and probably was arguably still kind of the face then, too, with the way he was playing. He can play anywhere. He's likely going in the draft soon, but they're continuing their campaign for him to be a player of the year in the SEC. They posted something yesterday, and this was just as of that day, so games have happened since you've probably heard this, but his average is tied for first. This is, I believe, the SEC statistics right there, because they're posting it to the SEC. 394, on base percentage of 477, a slugging percentage of 809, and that is first and third, those last two things that we said in the SEC. He's third in runs with 32, tied for eighth with hits and 37, tied for second with 10 home runs, 29th RB and 29 in RBIs, which is 6, and tied for second with 76 TBs. It's an incredible stat line and definitely worthy of Player of the Year candidate. Not to be outdone, though, by his upperclassmen. We've also got somebody that's probably worthy of the Freshman Player of the Year. That's Chris Rimbert. He is currently tied for first with, I guess this is across freshmen, 394. Although, no, that is not true, because 394 with Ike Irish would be the tie. Actually, there may be a couple of people tied with him. He has on-base percentage, which he is currently in the lead with, 509. He is 10th in slugging, 638. He is tied for 11th in runs, 25, and he is tied for 8th with 37 hits. So that just may be his stats, not even freshman-wise, just across the board. So there you go. You may be seeing some candidates there for Auburn, not just as a team, but as individuals to be Player of the Year type things. That's Ike Irish and Chris Rimbert. Obviously, we're going to be wrapping up here for the week. This is last one for this particular week. We look forward to be back together. I'm enjoying doing this. I hope all of you are as well. Please continue to share this out, subscribe, drop comments, questions. We want to hear from you. e2cnetwork@gmail.com. We want to talk with you about what you saw this weekend, things that you enjoyed. We want to make this show about you, where we connect with you, the Auburn family, but more specifically, our E2C Network family. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this week on Ever to Podcast. Until we get back together with you again, War Eagle.